What's up, guys? So I got a new tool here. I don't know if you could see that, it's just taking up the whole screen. I went and got myself a little bandsaw. So this is gonna allow me to do something really cool, a project I've been wanting to do for a while now. Just didn't obviously have the tools to do it. We're gonna make some Christmas ornaments. Really would love to have had some cooler wood, but well, I mean I do, but it's for a different project anyhow. So what we're gonna do is make some Christmas ornaments today. This is a, I think 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 turning blank. Let me find out really quick here what we're talking. Okay, so yeah, 1 1.5 actually. Yeah, 1.5 by 1.5 turning blank. So we're gonna cut it into, well, we're just gonna do one today because I'm just showing y'all, how to do it. So we're gonna cut a section, a few inches long off of this, and then we're gonna quarter that. Let's go ahead and start that. Got to do all my measurements and stuff. I'll cut all this nonsense out so y'all don't have to watch it. That's just to help hold it together while I'm doing the second cut to keep everything as straight and flush as possible. Alright, make sure you get the edges taped up pretty good, and then you're going to cut this, the stuff we were using to hold this together before, cut that out, and then we'll move forward. Okay, so now we've got our, lighting's bad. There we go. So now we've got our tape removed from, I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can, center groove here. So I removed the tape that we were using to hold it together for the second cut, but this is quartered now. It is very difficult to see because I got it taped together pretty tight, but it is quartered. And so now what we're going to do is we are going to do the inside shape. So what we're going to do is we're cut these corners off. When I say cut, we're going to do it on the belt sander here. And you just take it and make a kind of a bowl shape. I mean, you could even do like a V if you wanted, but just take some of this corner off, symmetrically around the entire piece, and then I'll tell you what to And away we go. Now we're gonna obviously take the 120 grit, the same way I was just using the 60 or 80 grit, whatever it was, just to polish up this inside. And then we might even take a little bit of hand sandpaper, depends on what we get from the belt. So here we go. Alright, so now we got this, something that resembles almost like a chess piece of sorts. So now, hold on, let me get all this mess out of the way and change the camera angle. Actually, I can leave it here for now. So now, what we're gonna do is take a little bit of a high grit sandpaper. So it's 220, we're gonna do 220 now. Just gonna take it and just lightly go over the inside here. You don't want to mess up any of these corners or edges, so don't go nicking these and any of these lines or anything. You want to keep those as neat as possible. So try not to sand those. Just get the inside part. Okay, that's good. Nice and smooth. You want the inner piece to be, finished quality, because once you're done with this part, you're done with this. You won't have time to come back and do any more finishing to the inside. So once you're at this step, make sure that this is good enough to be finished. All right. So now you'll start to understand why we did things the way we did things. So now you're going to take the tape off. Okay. Okay. So now we've got our glue applied. You can tape it at this point just to keep all the pieces aligned while you're trying to clamp. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to clamp it and hope for the best.
Well, I'm just gonna so this is what we've got. And this is from 80 grit to 120 grit on a little bandsaw, or I mean a belt sander. What is that? Looks like part of the grain. That's crazy. Let's see if I can get it to focus. That little dot right there is actually part of the grain of the wood. But anyway, so this is where we are. It's not looking bad at all. And size comparison here. Let's see. So that's my hand. So it's really not that big. It's pretty sweet little ornament there. I cut a 3-inch, so from top to bottom it's about roughly 3 inches. Very light because of how much we carved out in the beginning part, which that looks amazing, by the way. Look at the grain inside of it. That's just beautiful. Anyway, so now we're gonna hand sand. I'm gonna go to a 220 grit, just hand sandpaper, and I'm not gonna record that. I'm gonna pause the video and come back and show you here in a second what we've got. Alrighty, folks, so we've got ourselves a bona fide Easter miracle for Christmas. So I was making myself a little ornament here for Christmas, and I realized that kind of looks like an egg, so I don't know, who knows, I might make it into a little wooden Easter egg, but that's what we've got. That's our Christmas ornament. After, let's see, I took it down to 220 grit and then to 400 grit. And look at that thing, man. That's gorgeous. I am not disappointed with this at all. Our Christmas tree next year is going to be full of these things. I'm loving this little guy. It's so smooth too with that 400 grit. Oh my gosh. All right, enough talking. Time to make moves. Where's my handy dandy? I need my beeswax. I seem to have misplaced my beeswax.
Give it to me, baby.
All right, my friends. And the thing I love about this beeswax, and one of the reasons I don't use the linseed anymore, is it's such a risk. Like this, I could leave this brush sitting here just like that and be fine, no problems. You do that with linseed and you risk spontaneous combustion. It quite literally can catch things on fire for absolutely no reason at all whatsoever. So, not really my style. If I light something on fire, I want to know I lit it on fire and when. That sounds horrible. Don't. That was. I'm gonna edit that out. So there we go, guys. Now, when the beeswax dries, it's gonna lose some of that sheen, but it really did bring out some of that reddish hue in the red oak, which I love red oak. It's a pretty straightforward lumber, somewhat, I'd say, mediocre to work. It's a pretty dense, pretty hard wood, so I think that's what allowed me to get such deep cuts on the inside. Like, you see how that's beveled, how deep cut that is, how little bit of wood is here. And it's still, I mean, I dropped it earlier. I dropped this thing while I was sanding it. The sander belt grabbed it right here where the band meets and just snatched it right out of my hand and threw it on the ground. It didn't even put a dent in this thing. So this is some pretty decent lumber to do this with too. Relatively cheap. Red oak you can get, it's pretty available online. You can get it at, last time I checked, Home Depot sells it in turning blanks, 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 turning blanks, or squares, however you say it. I talk too much. There it is, guys. That's our sweet little ornament. Now we're just gonna let that beeswax cure on there, and either a little ornamental Easter egg, or you can drill a hole. You want to be real careful drilling in the center of your quartering. See if we can make it out on the camera here. Yeah, okay, you can kind of see where it was quartered. Be careful drilling into that and putting a thicker screw than the hole that you've drilled, because it can force it apart. And if you don't have really good adhesion on that glue, you'll blow the piece out. So yeah, enough yapping. There's that beautiful piece of art. All in all, it took hour and some change. And look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. Alright guys, I really appreciate you watching. You have yourselves an awesome day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be your friend. Peace out, guys.